In this video series, we're going to cover adding a new vehicle to a project. So to access the vehicle menu, we're going to go to the Setup tab and click on Vehicles. And to add a new vehicle, we're just going to click on this plus sign. And the Add New Vehicle window appears. So I'm going to add a vehicle name, and I'm just going to put Rig. MMSI, that's optional. That just stands for Mobile Maritime Service Identity. And NavView supports tracking vessels using the input from an AIS system. The vessel data provided by the AIS includes the vessel's MMSI. And NavView just uses that MMSI to match the vessels being received via the AIS with those being positioned by NavView. If the NavView data has failed for any reason, NavView just uses the AIS data to replace the vessel. Otherwise, it will just default to using NavView data. Description, that's optional. You could type a description for the vehicle in here. And you can add a color. I'm going to go with orange. And if you have a 3D model, you can put that in. It's not necessary. But I'm going to go ahead and add mine in here. And you're just browsing to the file structure of where you save that 3D model. And click on Next. And here we're just going to be importing the 2D outline file for the vehicle. The supported formats are DWG, SHP, and VEH. So I'm just going to click on the import and go to my 2D outlines file and select my DWG. And then you have to select the AutoCAD layer that has the outline on it and click on OK. And here you just need to make sure that you have the correct source file units for this particular drawing. And mine is going to be survey foot, but you can see it'll show your outline height and width up here, and you can verify those values. And we're going to click Next. And now we have the calculations page. So if you've pre-configured calculations for positioning before you set up this vehicle, if you click the drop down, you'll have some calculations available. If you're setting up this vehicle and need to add a calculation, what we're going to do is just add a new rigid body calculation. And you can name this. I'll just put Rig. And this is where you're going to be adding all your devices or simulations depending on what you want to do. If you had a GPS set up in your devices, you would just click this drop down and there would be a devices tab here that you would expand and select your GPS. And the same thing for the heading, pitch, and roll. You would add all your sensors in here for positioning. I'm just going to be adding simulations for this video. So I'm going to select my simulation for position and heading. And then I'm going to click Next. And this is just the offset locations. So you can add some static offsets in here if you'd like. So I'm just going to add a static offset here. I'm not sure what the actual values are, but I'm just going to plug something in for an example. So if I click the add item, we've added a new offset here. To edit this, you're just going to double click in the window. And I'm going to name this crane. For the X, I'll put -200. And for the Y, I'll put 10. And over here, you can edit the graphics for the static offsets. You can choose whether they're going to be visible or not, change the color, change the symbol. I'll make this red just so it's easy to see. And then you have a couple other options over here. If you wanted a snail trail, you could go over to history and enable this. You can set up the length of the snail trail. the interval that you want the positioning on the map, and the symbol size. And I'm going to click on finish and OK. And you'll see there's my vehicle. You see I was pretty far off on setting up that crane offset, but you can go in there and edit that. And if I go over to the 3D map, there is my 3D model.